Jackson here at Song Mentor, and today's relaxed selection is 1977's Wonderful Tonight. Eric Clapton wrote and recorded this song on his iconic LP Slow Hand, and it was yet another song written about Pattie Boyd. And you have to wonder about her, how mesmerizing she was as a muse, particularly for George Harrison and Eric Clapton. Having produced Something, Layla, and then Wonderful Tonight, all written about Pattie Boyd. She has mentioned that the song, in particular, Wonderful Tonight, is both touching when she thinks about it, because she remembers it as a reminder of all the wonderful things about her relationship with Eric Clapton, but also painful, because it's a reminder that that relationship is no longer. Here's 1977, Eric Clapton, Wonderful Tonight. All right, a beautiful ballad from Eric Clapton. And here are the chords you need for Wonderful Tonight. You need an open G chord. You need an open D chord. And then keep in mind that within that D chord, we're going to add some variations, as in the D sus2, which I get by lifting off my second finger, and the D sus4, which I get by flattening out my third finger to include the third fret of the first string, the G note. So open D, D sus2, D sus4, just for variations in the song. You also need an open C chord. And you need what's referred to as a D over F sharp chord. And we play that in transition. It's actually a connecting chord between the open G and the E minor, which is coming up. And it's played, in this case, with our first finger on the F sharp note on the 6th string, and then our pinky finger on the D note on the 2nd string. And we kind of mute the first string. We don't play that. And it's that chord right there. And again, as I mentioned, that's a transition chord between the open G and then the E minor, which you also need in this song. So again, to review, you need open G, open D, D sus2, D sus4, open C, you need a D over F sharp, and an E minor chord. And those are the chords you need for Wonderful Tonight. The introduction to Wonderful Tonight consists of a simple chord progression, over top of which Clapton plays that beautiful little picking intro that he created and plays throughout the song. That one. And so we'll get to that. We'll learn the intro, the chord progression, and then we'll also learn that little lead section, and we'll put the two together picture in picture for you. So the chord progression simply shuttles through from G to D to C to D and back to G. And within that, whenever I play the D chord, you'll see me possibly picking through, making it a D sus2, as we talked about, or a D sus4. And you'll see that. You'll also, I'll show you up close how we go about picking through this to enhance the chords a little bit. But essentially, this is what you're after. All right, so from a right-hand perspective here, so you notice that when I'm strumming a chord, I'm kind of picking around on the first 3 strings through each chord. So for the G chord, that's a nice simple way that you can enhance the song a little bit. strum and then kind of pick through the high three notes of the chord. Notice there I went D sus4 back to D and then to the G. And every once in a while I throw in a D sus2. I just like that chord, and it just changes things up a little bit. It doesn't change the song dramatically, but it, I think, enhances the song. Late in the evening, she's wondering what clothes to wear. She put on her makeup, so I hope that gives you a nice idea of how to strum and enhance the that part of the playing of Wonderful Tonight. All right, so as you saw there, the intro the progression, which is the G, D, C, D, G, carries on through the first part of the verse. So that's what we did there. But let's go back and learn the lead work, and then we'll put it together with the intro. We play that intro progression twice and put the lead work in, and we'll do it together. We'll do it for you picture in picture. Well, this lead work is quite interesting because in the studio version, in the first time through, the guitar doesn't play the entire run. He plays this part. And then the keyboard plays. The second time through, Clapton plays the whole thing. He plays. Okay. Now I watched him play it live, and he embellishes this a little bit, and I kind of like it. We're teaching guitar here, so why not add a little bit of guitar? And what he does is he starts with this note. Each time he goes back to this note. So that's what we're going to learn, because I think it's the nicest version I've heard. So this riffing begins with our first finger on the 7th fret of the 3rd string, and that's that note we come back to. So just a down pick there. And then we go to a bend on the 10th fret of the 2nd string. So we bend up on 10. Okay, play 8. And then back to 10. So again, starting on 7 of the 3rd string, and finish up on 10. Second time through, we finish on a different note. We finish on the 9th fret of the 3rd string. So the first time we finish on the 10th fret of the 2nd string, second time we finish on the 9th fret of the 3rd string. And the third time through, we carry on and play that little progression up. So let's follow that. It goes from the 10th fret of the 2nd string to 7 to 8 up to 12 and finishes on 10. So again, 10 of the 2nd string, 7, 8, 12, 10. Get a little bit of wiggle in there if you can. So here's the whole thing in review. Now let's put that together with that opening sequence of chords, and we'll have the intro. 1, 2, All right, let's cover the full verse progression, and that's where we introduce this D over F sharp chord and the E minor. So it's basically like this. It's late in the evening, she's wondering what clothes to wear. She put on her makeup and brushes her long blonde hair, and then she asks me, do I look alright? And I say yes, you look wonderful tonight. And at that point we go back into the intro with the lead work again. So again it's from da 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 to D to C back to D. So the first part is just like the intro. And then it goes to a C chord. And then she asks me. And here's the only little tricky part in the song. We want to go from a G chord to an E minor in transition. We can actually pick through this. So it's G chord, D over F sharp, and I say yes, you look wonderful tonight. So let's do a playthrough on a verse. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's late in the evening, she's wondering what clothes to wear. She puts on her makeup and brushes her long blonde hair, and then she asks me, do I look alright? And I say yes, you look wonderful tonight. That's the little riff that takes us into the bridge section of the song, which is a little bit different than what we've learned so far, and the only section that I haven't shown you. So this is the riff that takes us in. We're on the 7th fret. So it's 7, 10, 10, 7, 12, 10, 7, 10, 8 on the 2nd string. And that's right into I feel wonderful because I see the love light in your eyes. So you recognize that. That's just that C to D, and then that transition from G. And here's the part that's a little bit different. And the wonder of it all is that you just don't realize how much I love you. Ba-na-ba, ba-na-ba. Okay, so back into the lead work there. So it kind of doubles up on the C-D chord progression there. The wonder of it all is that you just don't realize. And on that syllable, realize, we hold the D chord. How much I love you. Da, da, da. Okay, let's do a playthrough of the bridge section. I feel wonderful because I see the love light in your eyes, and the wonder of it all is that you just don't realize how much I love you. Okay, a couple little bits on the ending, and then we'll do a kind of a final playthrough. So this last line of the final verse repeats. My darling, you are wonderful tonight. I said, my darling, you are wonderful tonight. Then it goes back into the lead bit. And the second time through, plays through that twice, but the second time through the ending is going to be retarded, sort of a... All right, let's do that playthrough, and I think what we'll do is we'll just go from that bridge section into the final verse, into that sort of double-ended chorus there at the end, and then we'll finish the song off. Here we go. I feel wonderful because I see the love light in your eyes, and the wonder of it all is that you just don't realize how much I love you. It's time to go home now, and I've gotta make it here. So I give her the car keys, she helps me to bed, and then I tell her, as I turn out the light, I say, my darling, you were wonderful tonight. Oh, my darling, you were wonderful tonight. All right, fine tuning for Wonderful Tonight. Now I'm using an acoustic for this, but you certainly don't have to. Electric guitar would be fine. Keep it a nice clean, maybe slightly reverbed sound, maybe even a little bit of chorus on it if you choose to use electric. Try to concentrate on playing that riff as sweetly and purely as possible. Bends are always a little bit tricky. Now sometimes you can bend just a little bit too far or not quite far enough, and it makes it sound a little bit sour. So work with that. Nice simple strumming pattern, embellished a bit with a little bit of pick work. This is a beautiful love song. Eric Clapton. Wonderful Tonight. We'll see you next time on Songmen.